Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading for the next 3 months. We're going to look at what's going on between October, November, and December of 2025. Each row is we're going to look at something different than we normally do. You have this lion spirit, says be generous of spirit. You have this badger spirit, says be fearless, be bold, which yes, that's definitely true for you, Cancer. So your first row, each card is going to represent one theme that you could be dealing with over the next 3 months. So 3 themes, if that makes sense. And yeah, that's what we're going to do there. So you have the 5 of Swords, the 10 of Wands, and the 3 of Pentacles. Now, the 5 of Swords could be saying that it's time for you to kind of like take a risk and put yourself out there. I feel like this comes up for you a lot, Cancer. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's you that gets these cards of like risk taking or taking a risk to go for something that you want. I mean, you even have the 10 of Pentacles here. 10 of Pentacles is like everything you want and desire in your life, which is going to be different for all of you. And, you know, again, as I always say, I don't know that we ever truly have it all, but, you know, I think working towards it is a worthy goal for sure, Cancer. So, you know, I think that taking the risk to, be bold, fearless, like the Badger Spirit says, on something that you want is going to be very important. So, you know, that's definitely something that I would pay attention to. We also go down here to the 5 of Wands and the Emperor here. So it's like this could be an opportunity where there is competition. And that's kind of like what I feel for you here, Cancer, is that some of you are, it's like you're analyzing an opportunity. I feel like you're doing this right now. You know, I know we're in September and technically this reading is for October through December. But, you know, I feel this could be right now even that where you're looking at an opportunity where there could be competition. And again, we go down to the 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles is overthinking. You know, it's like analysis paralysis. So it's almost like that this is saying you're thinking too much or you're kind of like processing something too much and you just need to take the risk with the 5 of Swords because I feel like you will be very happy that you did. And so risk taking is definitely a theme that is coming up for you here, Cancer, especially if there's like a bigger picture thing that you're trying to accomplish. Next, we have the 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands can be carrying a heavy burden. I actually feel pretty good about this, Cancer. Like, is it amazing? No, but I do feel that you are eliminating things. You know, I feel this more elimination energy on the 10 of Wands where it's like you're looking at things that you don't need to be doing anymore. You're looking at outdated beliefs is popping into my head as well. And you could be correcting those beliefs or just changing them. It's like, I always talk about how I think, for most of us, it's like we probably have a lot of beliefs from when we were like 2 years old. And it's like, obviously, we're not 2 years old anymore. And, we don't need those beliefs anymore from when we were 2. Or, obviously those things aren't true. It's like I think I read once that by the time we're 2 years old, we hear the word no like a billion times or something crazy like that. And so, I think that gets ingrained in us. We just think no. Even though we should be thinking, yes, we're not 2 years old anymore. I can do whatever I want. So, I kind of feel that a lot of you could be kind of like overcoming those things. I also do feel it makes perfect sense. We are in a time of simplification just in general. And so anything that you can simplify, I would, right? So when you think about it, we have to look at the larger themes that are going on in the world. So like AI, for example, is a big one. And it's like, regardless of how you feel about AI, it is simplifying some things. So, it's like, what can you simplify? And I'm not saying you have to use AI to do that, but, are there things in your life that you can, break down, make easier on yourself? Can you get someone else to help you to carry the weight? Are you carrying weights that don't belong to you? These are all questions that we have to ask. And I feel this is definitely a theme. Obviously, also, you could be completing some sort of something that you've been working on for a long time. So for those of you that have been, putting sustained effort into a project or a business or an idea recently over, I would say like this year, you are, obviously getting very close to your goal. 10 of Wands, he's about to have his harvest. His home, this is his home. This is his harvest that he planted, and he's about to have a harvest. Your next theme is the 3 of Pentacles, which is teamwork, right? We're in an amazing time for working with the collective. Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto and Aquarius, really, anything we can do to benefit the collective or work with the collective is just going to benefit us more. So again, that doesn't even mean you have to work with other people, by the way. It could just mean that, again, you're doing something that benefits the collective. And so any of that work would be a good idea. I also feel like anything you're working on could be getting more attention. He's putting his work on display, right? These 3 pentacles here. this is a fire triangle. We also have this water triangle right here. The water triangle is something extra that he did. He added something, he kind of added a little bit more of his vision to the project, right? So the Three of Pentacles tells us that if we're working on anything, that, what can we add to the project? How can we make it unique to us? How can we add a little bit of our flair to whatever we're doing, right? And so if you're working on something and you're not getting attention, then I would say maybe you need to inject a little bit more of yourself into the project, the business, the idea, whatever it is. And if you do that, it'll probably stand out. Some of you already are. You know what I mean? It's like some of you, I think, already are doing this, so I'm not too worried about it. But again, if you're not getting as much traction as you want on something you're working on, I would say you probably just need to add a little bit more of you. That's it, to the project. And if you do that, you'll be very successful. So let's see. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Wands here. Yeah, Eight of Wands is quick success. This is kind of like a common energy, but more I would say when we get into next year, although I think this could happen now. I think what will happen for a lot of people who have been holding themselves back is that if they get started on the thing that they've been holding themselves back on, they'll actually realize that they're more prepared than they thought, or they'll find success faster than they thought. So again, I would encourage you to take the risk. I also feel like this could be a little bit of good news coming in for you here, Cancer. So again, you could just be getting good news with the Eight of Wands. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Moon. Yeah, it's like you're not being told where the end is, or like where the finish line is, with that Ten of Wands. I almost feel like this is saying you need to stop looking for a finish line or something like that. It's like sometimes I think we work on a project and we think, oh, when I get to this point, then I can relax. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't relax, but what I am saying is that maybe that point doesn't exist. And I don't mean that in a bad way. But it's like sometimes I think this is saying you need to keep going. This is part of the Fool's journey. It's dark on the card, even though there's a full moon. The Fool has to get from here, to these mountains. And he can't necessarily see like when the journey ends or how long the journey is. But it's almost like I feel like some of you are too focused on finding a finish line. And there's a couple of things that I feel you could do here. Number one, Three of Pentacles. We have this lady here who has these polka dots on her cloak. Polka dots can represent taking something too seriously and needing to be more playful, needing to practice non-attachment, which I feel could be good for you, for sure. Like if you're working on a project and you're saying like, oh, I need to, like let's say you're starting a YouTube channel, you're like, I need to get 100,000 subscribers, then I can relax. I would say that's probably the wrong mindset. Maybe that's a clue to you that maybe you need to mix things up, because you should probably create something that you would do anyway, regardless of how many subscribers you had, right? And, I'm not saying it's YouTube. This could be anything in your life. But all I do is YouTube. So, that's the only example I can give you. This is also your card. So, you're showing up in a strong position here, Cancer, in your own reading. The other thing about this card is that we have this dog and wolf, dog and coyote, whichever you prefer. And it can represent needing to balance out your wild side and your domestic side. I feel you need to be a little bit more wild here, Cancer, like a little bit more, taking bigger risks, which I feel like I said to you in your last reading, putting yourself out there more, being a little bit more wild, embracing that wild side. With the Three of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Cups. Yeah, Ten of Cups is fortune after difficulty, happy home, happy family. And so, I feel pretty good about this, especially if you're working with other people on anything. That could be where these blessings are coming from. Ten of Cups is a little bit of a blessing, or it can be. And so there could be a blessing in working together with other people. Next, we're going to look at anything you don't see coming over the next 3 months. You have this Dream Yoga card. It says awareness, fearlessness, and emptiness. You have this Protector. It says strong, smart, courageous, and capable. That should be your mantra, right? Strong, smart, courageous, and capable. And I feel if you embrace that mantra, it will be true. So I would do this. I feel like you almost need to be careful of your awareness. Sometimes it's like we can be aware of things that maybe are true. Like I'm trying to come up with a good example for you as well. It's like, I'm not saying that you should ignore issues, right? But it's like something I've noticed, like especially in business, is like sometimes I've noticed that there are people where it's not like they ignore things, but they just choose to not let it to be stumbling block for what they are doing, and there might be some rules or regulations. I'm not encouraging you to like break the law here or something, Cancer, but what I am saying is like, is there something you could do later that you really don't need right now? There might be, I don't know, that's how it's popping into my head. Like, you might think you need a LLC for your business, but it's like, do you really need it like this second? Probably not. You could probably get started now and then get it later, and again, I'm no expert on this business stuff, so talk to an accountant or a lawyer. But whatever you're doing, it's in life, I feel that there could be some things that are getting in the way. You have the Ten of Pentacles, the Five of Wands with the Emperor, and the Page of Wands. The Ten of Pentacles, again, is everything you want and desire. I feel that you're currently working on your foundation, Ten of Wands, as well, showing up in this reading. And you have the Four of Pentacles right next to this. So I consider the Ten of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles to be foundational. Even though the Ten of Pentacles represents everything you want and desire, it's like sometimes we have to build a solid foundation to get everything we want and desire in the first place. So I feel that right now, like in September, you are focused on, foundational building activities, and that is probably a good thing. I do feel with that Eight of Wands, again, success can come to you quickly if you allow it. So I would, allow success to come to you and, start working on that. But yeah, I don't really feel much here on the Ten of Pentacles. That's all I'm getting. Next, you have the Five of Wands and the Emperor. This would be about taking control. Like I said, I do feel that you are doing something in life that could be a little bit competitive, and I feel this is encouraging you to, it's almost like saying, I don't think you should ignore the competition, but it's almost like the competition doesn't exist like you think it does. And so something that you think could be competitive, it's like, yeah, sure, maybe it is. But your unique way of doing things with that Three of Pentacles, like adding your own flair or your own self to something, is the thing that will make it successful. And I feel that's what you need to do here, is you need to like inject your own self into projects and things that you're working on. You get the Emperor with me a lot, and the Emperor is about an opportunity that you need to grab onto. He's sitting on this throne, but he has his armor on underneath his cloak, and the armor kind of says that he is ready to go at a moment's notice. So when an opportunity presents itself, he grabs onto it. He doesn't really wait. And so I would, be grabbing on to anything. You're thinking about something, Cancer, going this way with that Seven of Pentacles. So whatever you're thinking about, I would grab onto it, or, I would make it happen, because you'll be happy that you did. Next, you have the Page of Wands. I feel like there is something a little bit unexpected with the Page of Wands. You end with the Knight of Wands as well, which we'll talk about in a minute. But there could be like a random opportunity for adventure that's coming up for you over the next 3 months, and I would take it, whatever it is. Now, this adventure could be literal, like you're traveling, but it could also be just like an adventure of starting something new, or learning about a new topic, or learning about a new idea in life. And like I said, I would definitely, if you have any of those types of opportunities that would be adventurous, that make you feel excited, I would do it, whatever it is. The Page of Wands, he doesn't really have a good reason for doing what he's doing. He's just optimistic. He's just hopeful about something. He just feels hopeful about these opportunities, right? So again, there might not be much evidence up front that something is going to work except for your own excitement. And that's exactly what I would follow. With the Ten of Pentacles, first, make sure to leave a comment and drop a like on this video. It really helps me out. But with the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is like a victory or a big success. The Ace of Swords is also about cutting something out of your life. And so, yeah, there are definitely some big changes coming in for you, Cancer, over these next few months. And, you could be, literally, I feel like how you start the next 3 months is not how you're going to end them. How you started this year is going to be completely different to how you end this year, which is pretty powerful. With the Emperor and the Five of Wands, you have the Ace of Wands. More excitement. The Page of Wands, he is holding one wand, right? The Ace of Wands is just a spark. It is just that initial excitement about a new idea. It's out with the old, in with the new. So there is definitely like a new level of excitement or something coming in for you, and you're just going to have to embrace the adventure. And it's again, I don't think this is a bad thing, Cancer, but I do feel like there could be some fears about the future. It's like there could be a new opportunity. You could be saying, this opportunity looks good, but like, is it actually going to work? Is it going to lead to what I want? And well, the answer is yes, but I think you need to do it. With the Page of Wands, you have the Nine of Swords here. things have to change, right? It's like the Nine of Swords is a never-ending nightmare. It is just doing things the same over and over and over again. Sometimes I don't think that the Nine of Swords is really all that bad. Like, yeah, like it's definitely not my favorite card in the deck. It's actually my least favorite card. But it's Groundhog's Day. It is just doing things the same over and over and over again, expecting a different result. But the Page of Wands says there could be an opportunity for you to like mix things up and move in new directions and create more excitement. And that's exactly what I would do with that Nine of Swords. Next, we are going to look at any challenges and how to overcome them that could be coming up for you in the next 3 months. You have this luck is on your side card. You also have this a new start is coming. So there, I mean, really, that's not much of a challenge. I think the challenge is the new start, is just getting started on the new start. And so that could be the challenge that you're facing with this energy. And I feel like you need to realize luck is on your side. You have the Four of Pentacles, Four of Cups, and the Seven of Pentacles. So Four of Pentacles as a challenge is holding on too tightly to the past and needing to open up. Four of Pentacles is interesting because he's holding on to those Four of Pentacles because he's afraid that if he lets go, he's going to be left out in the cold, right? And so I feel for a lot of you, you need to realize that you're not going to be left out in the cold if you explore a new opportunity or things. It's like sometimes things being the same becomes a comfort zone because we know what we're going to get. And I feel a challenge for you. It's not even like a bad challenge. I feel this is a good challenge. I think like the universe is challenging you to make your life exceptional, to make it better, right? But you're going to have to step out of a comfort zone to do that, to make your life more exciting, to make it more of an adventure. Maybe that's what the reading is saying, is that you need to make your life an adventure, right? You have the Four of Cups. This is also definitely makes sense with the challenge because the Four of Cups as a challenge is that he has tried to do something at least 3 times before, and now he's getting another opportunity to accept this cup into his life. And so he's getting another chance to do something that he's done before, but he's not accepting it because of the fear of the past, right? But he just needs to realize that he learned what he needed to learn from these past experiences, and he needs to apply the lessons to this new cup so that he can be successful. So whatever I'm speaking very generally because I feel this is probably a big picture opportunity. It's not something small. Ten of Pentacles is everything. So this opportunity or opportunities that could be coming in for you could be multiple areas of your life. And I feel that you need to realize that you're in charge. Maybe you need to claim that with the Emperor. Maybe you need to say, I'm in charge of how this goes. I'm going to be the one that makes this special or this opportunity unique. And I really feel you need to believe that here, Cancer. Next, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Again, Seven of Pentacles as a challenge is analysis paralysis. He's looking at these pentacles. He's looking at what he's grown, and he's just looking at it too much. And he needs to change direction. I always say Seven of Pentacles is my card that says, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth it to be putting in time, effort, attention, energy into the things you're working on? Or is there something better that you could be doing with your time? And I don't know. I can't answer that question for you, right? You have to be the one to answer that question with the Seven of Pentacles. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Swords. Yes, something is dead, done, over with. It's like the old story. Really, I feel this row, it's like one challenge, right? It's just talking about your old story, how you've been living all along. And the Ten of Swords kind of says it's time to get up off the ground and to realize that the old way isn't working anymore, or just maybe it is, but maybe your life could be a lot more exciting, right? I always say like, tarot doesn't really have to be good or bad, right? It's not saying like, oh, your life is going to be horrible if you stay where you are right now. It's just saying it could be more exciting. There could be more things for you to explore, and the choice is yours, right? So that's what I'll say there. With the Four of Cups, you have the Five of Swords. I mean, we've already talked about it. There's definitely wrong camera. There's definitely some sort of risk that you have to take to, step out of a comfort zone, or you're going to have to try something that you've tried in the past again. And I feel if you do it, you'll be happy that you did here, Cancer. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Queen of Swords. Actually pretty good, because the Queen of Swords would be you finally getting the clarity you need to move forward, right? She only has clouds halfway up her body, and so she's seeing clearly for the first time. And so you could be getting, even though it's coming up in this challenge position, you could be getting some answers or guidance on like what to move forward on next, which obviously would be good. Next, we're going to look at the good stuff that's coming in for you over the next 3 months. You have this Merry Motive card and this Close Encounters card. Yet, again, the whole entire reading, the Merry Motive card is about doing things because you want to do them, being happy and, doing things from a position of happiness and joy and doing things because you're inspired to do them. And that's what we've been talking about this whole entire time, is that you need to, do the things. It's almost like the reading is saying, don't just go through the motions, right? Maybe that's what you're doing. I don't know. You tell me. But maybe some of you feel like you are going through the motions. It's like you're just doing things just to do them. And maybe you need to make it more exciting. Or again, with the Three of Pentacles, you need to add your own flair to what you're doing. And we go here from the Three of Pentacles up to the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles could be you feeling boxed in, you feeling like there are certain rules that you have to follow, but really you don't, and you could make something more exciting, and that's what I feel the reading is getting at. This Close Encounters card is good for communicating with your higher self. So we are in a very spiritual time, and I would be listening to your higher self. You have the Magician, the Knight of Wands, and the Two of Swords. The Magician is about attraction, or the law of attraction, attracting things into your life, of course. So I feel that it would be a good time to, get into the energy of what you want so that you can have it and practice law of attraction. I also always pull the card he's pointing to. We're going to say it's this one right here. You have this card. It says a time to give rather than take. I don't really think this is a problem for Cancer. Cancers usually are pretty giving, but could be something that you work on, is just like, being more generous. You have that Lion Spirit says be generous of spirit. So, practicing that could lead to you attracting more things. Next, you have this Knight of Wands. Definitely the secret sauce in your reading here is the Knight of Wands, being adventurous, bold, assertive, fearless, going for what you want. I mean, these are all things that the Knight of Wands does. He also is willing to explore a mystery. Something is exciting to him. He doesn't need to know where the finish line is, right? Which we talked about in this reading with that Moon card. It's like, that's what I was feeling on the Moon card. Like, I feel like the Moon card is saying, there is no finish line. That's like the weird part about it, is like maybe you think there needs to be some sort of finish line, but again, the reading is saying this is a journey, not a destination, to use a cliche. I love using cliches. Cancer loves cliches, so this is why I always use them in your reading, but this is, a journey that you're going on, and it's going to lead to a lot of fulfillment and excitement for you. So it's not like you're going to be, working yourself to death here, on whatever this is. It's probably your whole life, but, I feel that you're returning to excitement. You have the Two of Swords. I have a feeling that basically everyone is going to get the Two of Swords in these readings. Two of Swords is this or that thinking, but she needs to realize there's like another way that she can do things in her life over here on this island that's behind her. And so I feel like there are, it's like third place solutions. There are other ways of doing things that could lead to success. It's coming up in the good stuff. In the good stuff, the Two of Swords would also say that you're kind of like not settling, which obviously would also be a good thing for sure. So let's see here, Cancer. With the Magician, here you go. You have the Emperor. Yes, if there's like something that you want, I would just attract it and take control of whatever it is. Some of you, I wouldn't really call this a love reading, but, if you want love, you could be attracting an Emperor with law of attraction. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Strength card. Strength is about a display of strength. It is about showing the world how strong you are. And so a lot of you could be doing that by going on adventures. I think it's the job of all water signs to be an inspiration right now, especially with Pluto and Aquarius. So that's what I would do with this card. With the Two of Swords, you have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is about boundaries, but it's also about experimentation. Throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's also about not giving up. So I feel if there's some sort of dream, Ten of Pentacles isn't really a dream. It's more like your vision, like how you see a perfect life going. And the Nine of Wands, I feel, is saying, like, don't give up on whatever that is. Next, we're going to look at if there's anything I missed that wants to come out. Yeah, but you can't make this up. You have this detachment card. We basically said this, that you need to detach from the outcome. That is also your secret sauce for this reading, is like practicing non-attachment and just kind of seeing how things go. There's a boat on the card. It's like there's an adventure. You have this Devotion card. Yeah, some of you, I should say, could be really attracting your till death do us part. Like there's this bird grieving the loss of its little partner. How cute is that? right? So you definitely could be attracting a person that is like your till death do us part type connection. Next, you have this originality card. The whole entire reading talks about your original ideas here, Cancer. That's the Three of Pentacles, right? That's what you need to put out into the world. Is like you need to add your own unique flair to whatever you're working on, for sure. You have this exaltation card. This card is great because it basically says the universe is blessing you. Like, the universe is holding you up. And Jupiter's in your sign, so definitely true. But maybe you need to believe that. And you have this restlessness card. This could be solved immediately, Cancer. Like, whatever you're feeling restless about, I would just do it or go for it, and I think you will solve that problem more quickly. But this looks pretty good here, Cancer, so thank you for being here. Definitely leave a like and a comment down below. It really helps me out, but this looks good. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.